everybody on this podcast that's listening in, if everybody opened a sober living home, there still would be a need. So there's that. And then you also don't have to deal with all the rules and regulations that a lot of people are facing that's dealing with the traditional Airbnbs right now.
Or co-living.
Or the co-living space, or the whole not in my backyard type thing. You get to avoid all of that. On the side of it of being the operator and being connected to passion and purpose, it's the fact that you are literally changing lives. To see somebody come in weighing 90 pounds and then to leave your program smiling, they got their teeth restored, they're 150 pounds and they're healthy, and they've reunited with their children. There's nothing that compares to it.
I am Christina Suter, and this is the Real Estate Breakthrough Show, where we talk about the reality of real estate, the mindset you need in order to face the reality of what it is, and tips and tricks to get you moving forward in investing. I am your host, Christina Suter.
Thank you. This is Christina Suter on Real Estate Breakthrough, and we were just talking about how men can never win. I know that's a completely weird topic for a real estate podcast, but it is accurate to what we were just talking about. So here we are trying to set up a nice, quiet environment for this podcast for you, our listeners, right? And we're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about that. We're super excited. And then there's all this motor sound in the background. I had to go tell my friend to stop doing what he was doing. I'm like, I can't record with all that sound in the background. And you said it, Jermaine, perfectly. Men can never win. I just asked him to do a special project, and then I told him to shut it down. I mean, that's not fair.
It happens.
When life happens.
Thank you guys for the show. I'm so excited that you guys are willing to be on my podcast, because when I met with this lovely couple, and they are a couple, I'm going to claim it. You guys are going to have to deal with that. But when I met Mr. and Miss I Am the Deal, and I met them over at their sober living, which they were kind enough to give us, a couple of hours of their time so that I could really understand what they're doing, I was amazingly impressed. They truly have a win-win model in a way that just touched my heart, in them creating a community that was powerful, made a difference, transformed people's lives, and was economically successful inside of real estate, guys. So if I haven't pumped you enough to listen for the next 30 minutes, let me tell you, it's truly a model that they make approachable. You can learn from them, and you can get a profound value out of it, because they accelerate the amount of income, the cash on cash that you can get, while truly transforming people's lives. Okay, that should have primed people a lot. So now they got to know. Welcome to the show. What is it that you guys actually do?
We do sober living, guys.
Sober living.
So we help transform lives that are going through recovery.
Exactly. And the way that you guys steward that forward is amazing to me and powerful. So why don't you tell me a little bit about, normally I start with your background. We're going to go right past that.
Okay.
And I'm going to waste time on that one for now. We'll go right past the background. Let's talk a little bit about sober living and how people can at least set it up. Like for me, it was all the setup. I get it. You have a house. You got people living in a house. It's like a room share model. We'll get into that. But how do people even get into setting it up from the beginning so that they're successful?
Absolutely. So it's almost just as easy as you just put it. Like I know that sounds crazy, but it is. Once you have your house, what I tell people, get that certification, because that certification is also like a guideline for you to make sure that your house is structured in a way that it's going to be successful for everybody who enters in. So, and cut me off because sometimes I can blabber.
All good. We can do it together.
Yeah. So once people come into the once you start your sober living home and it's able to receive clients, which you get by referral, we can go into that a little bit later. Once we receive our clients, the whole thing is to make sure that your house has the proper rules in place and structure in place, because that's what sets the tone to make it a smooth and easy process, which as a landlord, because we have been there, done that, I can say with sober living, it's way more easier than a normal traditional tenant situation.
Night and day.
How is it easier? Because that's what everybody's going to look at and go, no way, sober living is not easier. Sober living is more complex. Tell me.
Okay, so start off, and we have regular rental properties as well. When you're with sober living, they're a protected class. So you can buy real estate anywhere. If it's HOA, no matter what it is, because what they're going through is considered a disability. So they're a protected class. So you can go anywhere, any neighborhood. That's one. Two, they don't have tenant rights because they're part of a program. So you don't have eviction processes.
No eviction,
So
you
no
guys.
eviction. So when they come in, they sign a waiver stating that they're a part of a recovering program. So with that, if you do anything, you break rules so many times, we have the right to discharge you from the program. So that's just those two right there sold me. I'm gonna be honest with you. No going to court, have to go through eviction processes, like the other industries, again, we've been there, done that. So those are the main two things that sticks out to me.
So to stay on the negative side for a minute, and to me there's a negative side and there's the positive side. To stay on the negative side for a minute, the fact is that you guys as landlords are protected in being able to make sure that what you have as a business model is working, right? And that's because really they're there as part of a program. They're not there as tenants. Right? They don't actually have access to tenants and tenant rights because they're part of a program. The advantage to them and the positive side of it is they are part of a program.
Right, they're part of a program. And to back up real quick, we're not landlords in this space. We're operators.
Yes, because we rent the property to our company to run the sober living home.
Yes.
Just so that's there.
Well, no, and that's important because then it becomes, well, if I'm getting a loan, like I've got this sober living house, I'm getting a loan on the house. Who's my tenant? My tenant is not the sober living participants. My tenant is my company running the actual business model.
Absolutely. You nailed it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hugely important. So how do you set it up so that you get your occupants in the house? Because that to me is the complicated part. I'm like, oh man, that's a lot of sales, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So that's what you would think. So that's actually probably one of the most common questions is, how do you get your occupants outside of how do you get started, right? So what people don't know is that in majority of all states, you are not required to get certified. It's a voluntary thing in most states. But that's why I recommend the certification, because if you do have that certification, then now you've established that you follow the NAR standards. So your home is not opening up and letting people come in, but you're following a standard, and you're also submitting yourself to be, inspected or audited at any time. And with that in place, because you are certified, then now the treatment centers, the hospitals, the facilities, they have you on the top of their list to refer their clients to. Because when we're talking about insurance and different government grants, a lot of those will not pay out unless it's a certified home with the state.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do you make the relationships you need to be able to get the referrals?
Okay, so I'm one of those people that I'm just a people person, period.
You are, and I love that about you. You are.
Now, for us, this is definitely a heart thing. So even before knowing all of this, we were already connected with our hearts and knew that this was our purpose and our mission. But something that I have always made my business to do is every time I walk into a place, you're going to either know about what we do, or in some sort of way, I want to make sure that we've impacted your life when you come across us. So I'm constantly calling people. I'm letting them know, hey, my name is Melissa. We have a sober living home. This is actually what I did when we first started, because we haven't had to do it since starting, which is crazy. But when we first started, I introduced myself to, the hospitals, the local hospitals, the mental health facilities, and told them who we were, told them, that we were, opening up a men's and women's home. And from there, we started creating a wait list of people to come into our program. And while going through that process is when I started finding out about the certification process. But what has happened is I believe in providing what I call Chick-fil-A customer service. Hopefully I can't get in trouble for saying Chick-fil-A's name on here, but
I don't know.
But I truly believe in Chick-fil-A customer service. Like, I'm always, smiling. I'm greeting them with respect. I never see myself at a higher level than they are. We're literally even. We're not going into background, but we have background in that area. So it's just our hearts was different with it. So when we approach it, most people are like, oh my God, you really love what you do. Okay, I'm going to send you this referral. Mm-hmm. And now it's kind of become a thing. Like right now we have a wait list, but I have case managers calling all the time. Like, please tell me you can do me a favor and take this person. Yes. And I'm like, we're full. Yes. So it's all about relationship building.
Yeah, no, and the background and the authenticity, I just want to pause on that for a minute, even though we might touch on background now. The reason being that I think the background and the authenticity is a huge part of this real estate model, but real estate in general, life in general, that's called being a good person in general. What does it mean to choose the authenticity, right? Like, I don't have a strong background in, specifically in drugs or use of drugs. I dated a guy who dealt drugs in high school, so I definitely spent some time in Al-Anon to try to work out what was going on there. But I've had abusive boyfriends. I had a boyfriend who was a drug dealer. I had a guy who was suicidal. Like, I've been engaged in, given my background, right? Given the community I grew up in, given the household I grew up in, there's definitely been a lot of moving myself from a certain mindset of the world is hard, the world's tough, it's out to get me. I don't like being on this planet. I don't enjoy people, to actually, you know what, this is a really cool place to live. Like, let's get engaged with people. Like, let's have fun. Let's make a difference. And being willing to transform and be engaged in authentic transformation with people is joyful, right? Like, I had to go from here, like, don't talk to me about even staying on the planet, to over here, right? And that's part of what sober living process is about. And maybe that's why it touches me when you guys talk about it, is because why do people do what they do, which is to escape into drugs, escape into alcohol, escape into an addiction of some kind? Because they don't really want to engage here. They don't feel safe here. They don't feel loved, seen, or heard here. They don't feel powerful here on the planet, for whatever all their reasons are, right? And then you create an environment where they can say, hey, wait a minute, maybe I can work that out. Right? I mean, that's the core of what you're doing, because it doesn't really matter what their addiction was. What matters is, do they want to work it out on the planet and actually stand up and say, yeah, actually, I do want to play.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
We're giving them a new bridge because they burnt their old ones.
Mm-hmm.
So that's we take pride in doing that, because even when we was going to the prisons, giving birthday parties to homeless kids and less fortunate, we would go to the women's prisons and throw birthday parties for the kids, and they get to celebrate the birthdays with the kids. So one of the questions that I was asking them, when you get out of prison, what keeps you coming back to prison?
Yes.
And they said, because when I get out, we burnt all of our bridges, so all we have is that life they got us in here. So they go back to that life, get with the wrong crowd, same crowd, and end up back in the same thing. And that's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting different results. So that is one of the reasons that they kind of geared us toward what we're doing right now, is giving people second, third, fourth, fifth chances.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So we're considering being the bridge, the new bridge. So
I think it's greatly underestimated in humanity how we're pack animals, we're tribal animals. Right? We really, really, really do well in a community. Even people who are introverts and say they don't care about, no, don't bug me, don't make me go out to the bar, don't they're like, no, leave me at home. Right? But even them, they need to have some sense of, but I'm loved and respected in some space, in some place in my world, right? Just that. If there's no space where love and respect, kindness, support, clarity is offered, they're going to play whatever that tribe is playing, because we need to be in some version of a community. We need to be connected some way, somehow. And if the community they have is all playing this game called let's do addiction in order to avoid, it makes it very hard to not just walk right back into that thinking, walk back right into that exposure. I mean, I speak of my own experience, right? Like, what does it mean to keep myself surrounded by people who want to create a difference on the planet versus being surrounded by people who are like, yeah, no, let's just yell at you because we're fucking pissed today. Excuse me. So the bridge is this community you create called, and there's so many cliches in this space of like, oh, well, they go back to their old community, so they get back in the old habits. And it's almost like it's said with like a form of disdain. Well, they're just so stupid. They go back to their old communities. It's like, well, where else are they supposed to go? What else are they supposed to do? Like, if you don't offer them the bridge, right? So talk a lot about how you guys offer that bridge, because that to me is the magic in the pudding that you guys create, right? The love and the magic is right there.
So like you mentioned, how, it's that line, like, do I go back to my old habits? Do I go here? I go where I'm welcome. So when they come into our program, My voice got a little scratchy. But when it comes into our program, like, it's important for them to understand that you have to uncover to recover. So basically all those things that's been at the root of the issue, like, let's go ahead and address those things. And right now you have a safe space where everybody in the house, they're open to talking about how they feel, and they're not put
no judgment.
they're not under pressure, and
Right.
There's no judgment. We tell them that from the beginning, but we create a space that feels so safe that they feel like, oh God, I can talk, or oh my God, Melissa or Jermaine or Sonia, whoever is working with them, does care about me, and they're not judging me, so I can be my true authentic self. So that bridge has to do with respect, number one. And outside of respect, also giving them the tools to thrive and move forward so that they can measure their success, that they're growing forward and not just in that stagnant position. So it's not just about bringing them in to the house, letting them have just a safe space. Because a lot of people say, oh, safe space. But really, what's safe? Is it just because, there's no fights in the house? Or is it safe because they can talk about things that need to be addressed? They can share their feelings, share things that need to be changed, even within the program. And then give them that space to help them with those life skills to become, I don't want to say like law-abiding citizens, because that sounds cliche, but
Right.
Basically, I'm missing the word, but a productive citizen to their community.
There you go.
I think
Yeah.
Remember I said before, like, there's so many cliches in this space of like law-abiding citizen. It's like, well, that's not really what we're talking about. What we're talking about is much deeper than that. Like, what makes you a law-abiding citizen is the desire to be a law-abiding citizen, because you understand how that's the community you choose to belong to because of the value or self-identity you have. Like, so I don't want to be up here, like, I'm going to make him be a law-abiding citizen. No, you're not. You're not going to make anything happen. You can't make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
It's all about choices, and also making them understand that there are consequences to their actions too, because we don't just baby them all day. Like, we tell them if they're wrong, we let them know, but we don't. It's kind of like gentle parenting. The
Right.
same way with your kid, how you speak to them is how they're going to react. It's kind of that same approach. Like, remember, you're talking to another human being.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking to somebody, you don't know their story. You don't know what caused them to, go to try to suppress those feelings and get on drugs. So we always handle with care. Like, I know we don't have time, but like, in 2 seconds, there's one story that changed my life forever. I spoke to a man who was homeless, and I asked him about his situation, and he became homeless because his wife and daughter was killed in a car accident. And the teen driver who was driving was sentenced to not just probation, but where you go volunteer your time.
Yeah.
And was not sentenced to time. He jumped over and tried to strangle the teenager, and he got sent to prison. And once he got sent to prison, when he got out of prison, he went into Salvation Army, who then he said he was robbed of his things. So he was like, if I'm going to get robbed here, then I'm going to just go live on the streets. Went to the streets, got introduced to drugs, and became abuser. So you never know what somebody's going through. So it's just very important that you have all that in mind when you're dealing with this other person that you're dealing with. So we don't see them how they come in. We don't see them with the sores and they're frail. I don't see that. I see past that. I see exactly who they're meant to be. So we're always installing that from day one.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a really great story. You're making me cry, which is good. Right, which is good, right? It's good because there's a lot of humanity in this, and it's. I think it's important that people understand, and that story to me is a prime example about no, I don't want to play on the planet. That's why I don't want to do drugs. I don't know how to live with the grief of losing my wife and my child. I don't know how to live inside of that pain, and therefore I don't know how to be on the planet right now. So I'm going to do what I do, whether it's violence or whether it's drugs or whether it's living homeless, or I'm going to do what I need to do so that I can get through this. Because the only other choice is to just not be on the planet. That is the other choice. I'm not saying I'm not supporting that choice. I'm just saying, right? The only other choice is to not be on the planet. And some people say start over again. Some people say go to heaven or hell. Some people say whatever, your religion is. I mean, this is not a religious conversation. I'm not trying to have that conversation. I'm trying to have a humanity conversation. Not that I believe in a God. I'm completely, absolutely, right? I'm just not going to say that you have to believe in my God the way I believe in it. I'm just saying, right? I'm just, I'm that kind of gal, right? Believe in your God the way you believe in your God, we're good. Um, but it talks to the depth of what's important. Now, that being said, but you guys implement and you guys create a home, you guys have a program, a mentorship program around this for the people who are called to create this.
I love that you said called, because that's the difference.
That's the big difference. It's a profitable purpose. And we tell people that, like, again, we're investors as well. So we get it. But in this space, you have to have some kind of heart or be attached to somebody that has the heart for it. Like, you can be a partner in it, but you have to be, in order for it to make really, really sense, make really good sense, is you have to have somebody attached to it that's passionate about it.
Yep.
And they can start, like, we have a conversation like we're having right now. And once you have these conversations, you may talk to that person and be like, oh, now that you mentioned, I got a cousin, or I got an auntie, I got an uncle. Oh, that's what my uncle went to when he went to that house when he got out of prison. Yeah. And those type of things like these. So that's why we love having these type of conversations, because for a while it was taboo. You know what I'm saying? People didn't really want to, you know what I'm saying? It's like the elephant that was in the room. Like, everybody was withholding that information because they were embarrassed or whatever the situation may be. So now that we're having these things, these conversations, it's been talked about more and more and more. So we love it.
No, I love it too. And so my job is to try to get more of these homes. And the way I can help get more of these homes is I can answer both sides. So one side is having somebody who's in the business of running the actual sober living facility that connects to the secret sauce. Magic of, we're giving them a home, we're giving them a place. What does safety mean? Safety is beyond not being hit, not being yelled at, right? Then on the business side, then you've got a piece of real estate, right? And maybe you bought that piece of real estate. Now you can either rent that out to somebody else who actually has a sober living business, or you can find somebody who can create that sober living business inside that home for you. So I guess, and the reason why I'm saying that is because people who are listening to this might, I think, inaccurately believe, oh, well, but I don't have all that magic gift that Melissa has, right? Or that Jermaine has. I don't have that, I am not Mr. and Mrs. I am the deal, right? I don't have that. What I have is a piece of real estate, right? And so to bridge that gap, it's like, but you don't have to be this person. You can find somebody who is doing it. Like, you guys have students who are doing it. So, so I just want to go into that, like, yeah, you rent out the model. So go ahead and describe that piece so the people can understand they can support the model even if they don't have that emotional empathic awareness.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So with that, she's a licensed realtor. And then I'm in the real estate side, on the creative side, like the wholesaling and getting creative deals. So the best way that we like to underwrite deals is you need to have a buy box. And you're in real estate, you know what a buy box is. So what a buy box is your preference, your out the door PITI, the square footage, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what zip code, you know what I'm saying, what class neighborhoods is it in, A, B, C, or D, where A, B, or C, A being a high income, middle, like mid-class, C is like low income areas. So if you want, just depending on, preferably we like B class, because we really believe we want to take them out of their environment that got them into the trouble in the first place. So all of our homes are in B class neighborhoods. So we're getting you out of the environment, letting you know that, okay, this is what you could be in. This is what life could look like. So I'm just throwing that out there. So anytime that we're looking at deals, we're underwriting, I'm making sure that it fits our buy box. Our buy box is 4 2 4 3s, so we can put 8 beds in one house. 4 bedrooms, 2 to 3 bathrooms, preferably anywhere from 15 to 2,000 square feet and above. Because it's 50 square feet per person. So with that being said, if you got a 4 bedroom, we it's somebody in our city that has a 4 bedroom with 17 people in it. Certified. But here's the other side of that coin. You are dealing with personalities. So if you have the facility feel, you got to think about it. When people are coming from facilities or prison, they already feel like they're coming from an institutionalized mindset. So our job is to not make them feel like that. So we do 4-2-4-3s, so we can just put 2 beds per room, and that way you can have space and you can start working your way back to normalcy, if that makes any sense. So for the people who have real estate and who got portfolios, because since we've been talking about it more, we have so many real estate investors with portfolios knocking down our doors saying, hey, we got this, we got that. And a lot of them don't fit up our box. But the good thing about our mentorship is, depending on what state you're in, we have mentees in that state that you could do a deal with.
Yes.
You could, you see what I'm saying? Or you can do a commercial master lease. So that way, as an investor, let's say we know our space. So if your underlying mortgage, if your average rent rate is $1,500, you can essentially, so instead of you cash flowing ready $167 to $300 a month, you know what I'm saying? You know what space they're in, so you can kind of up that a little bit and say, instead of me charging $1,500, I'm gonna charge $2,000. So now you have a $500 increase, and by doing a commercial master lease, you're leasing it, so they have to carry insurance, they have to carry all these things, they have to fix what's going on.
Yes.
So now you're cash flowing versus being in the red every month. You see what I'm saying?
And it will stay full. And I know, like, some of the investors that we've been speaking with, they're like, well, are you guys gonna, are they gonna take care of the property? Let me tell y'all, okay? When we were doing traditional landlord, which is, we still got 2 traditionals, we're waiting on their time to expire so we can make them sober living homes.
No renewals.
But when you're doing the traditional side of it, just being the landlord, you run into, when it's time to go look at that house to get it flipped for the next person, it's messed up, you got all these repairs. It's not like that with sober living, because it's all about the operator you put in place.
Mm-hmm.
But you put a good operator in place, that house is spick and span every time you walk in. That's part of the requirement to be in the program, is they have daily chores. The house should never be dirty when you walk in. So the good thing about that is, as a landlord who partners with an operator, you now got that protection on your property to know that they're not going to abuse it. Why? Because that operator is under a certification who's monitored by the state, who can come in at any time.
Anytime.
So they don't want to, lose their license, or their certification, I should say. They don't want to lose that. Some states it's called a license though.
Right.
But that's kind of the guarantee from the inspector point of view of why it will be wise to partner with an operator who maybe just doesn't have the real estate to do it, because it protects your investment and you hold no liability.
I love how we're covering both sides of this. Remember, I said this is about bridging real estate success. So that's one side of the win, with transformation in these people's lives, which is the other side of the win. And I love how we're covering both sides of that. I'm trying to think about other questions in the back of my mind, because I'm not, no, you guys are great. You guys are great. You guys are fantastic. You're doing wonderful. I love this, because I really feel like we're covering the breadth of both sides. I know I worked on a variety of different boards. I volunteered in a variety of different organizations, and being on boards, it's always hard to find what we call the unicorn. So we're trying to hire a CEO that is in a heartfelt space, that understands children, or understands a particular approach towards baby care, or understands the school, or that we're always in some version of an alternative space having to do with children, because that's my other passion is children and stuff like that. So yes, because it's I had this one guy who came to my real estate meeting, and all we did was talk about his baby for like the first 4 months. We didn't talk about real estate. We talked about his baby. My baby's not sleeping. We're not getting any sleep in that. Okay, well, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Are you swaddling? Are you guys setting what boundaries? I loved it. We had 4 months conversations about babies before we ever even got into real estate. One of my favorite stories. So, but the point is, we're talking about both halves of this. So it's hard to find the unicorn, which is somebody who can both be in the magic of the space.
Our thing is shaking. Sorry about that, guys.
We had to put out on the charger. Sorry about that.
The cord came out. Okay, there we go.
It's all good. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
You have to actually have to plug it back up. Sorry about that.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. This is so unprofessional.
Edit,
but our computer pulled the thing out, so I'm so sorry.
That's why
good.
I'm trying to teach her about that. This is not live, boo. Like we're
okay. I'm so sorry.
This gets sent to my social media crew, and then they edit it.
Okay,
right?
Good. All right, here we go.
Y'all gonna be sending us bloopers.
Actually, bloopers might be funny. I've never typed my bloopers, but there probably is a series of bloopers somewhere on the editor's floor, right?
Right. You'll see when you're going viral.
I was trying to pick the cord up with my toes. I was like, trying to get people without you knowing.
That's all right. That's all right. So the point is, we're touching the magic on both sides, right? We're touching the magic on how we take care of people. We're touching the magic on how you make it successful inside of real estate. Even if you're just a real estate numbers person, you just find your bridge. You find your other person that can create this home and make it successful, because it's more financially successful to be able to rent to a sober living or to have a master lease with a sober living facility. It allows you to be in areas of the city. I'm kind of bottom lining, right? So I'll let you guys do it. Why don't you guys bottom line the advantages of what it means to be able to have a space, to have both sides of the magic of this master lease model.
Okay.
I guess the way I look at it is you can really diversify your portfolio. So you can scale quicker when you know that you have the right strategy. So if you know that the homelessness crisis and the addiction crisis and different little things like that, the amount of people that's homeless and people coming out of treatment, that it's more of them than the everyday tenants.
Yes.
If that makes any sense. All you have to do is just drive downtown, go into you know what those neighborhoods are, and you see them sitting out there. It's more people like that than qualified people that can go get apartment. We have people that come to us because their credit is jammed up and they have nowhere else to go. You see what I'm saying? And again, it's a model that you can scale your real estate portfolio, residential or commercial, because you can do 5plexes on up, and you can fill those. You can turn those into sober living homes. Mm-hmm. So that's the key to really scaling fast, because you know that you're going to have more qualified operators than qualified tenants, and it's more per door. So if you got a 4-bedroom with 8 beds in it, essentially that's 8 doors. So you got to look at it like that.
And you can charge anywhere. The average rate that you could charge is $650 to $1,100 per bed. Different areas, it may increase just a bit. But the bottom line is just, one, again, you're avoiding that eviction process because they're part of a program that's changing their lives and helping them thrive. 2, there's an excessive need. So if everybody on this podcast that's listening in, if everybody opened a sober living home, there still would be a need. So there's that. And then you also don't have to deal with all the rules and regulations that a lot of people are facing that's dealing with the traditional Airbnbs right now.
Or co-living.
Or the co-living space, or the whole not in my backyard type thing. You get to avoid all of that. So I feel like those are the benefits from I was going to say an inspector, but on an investor side of it. On the side of it of being the operator and being connected to passion and purpose, it's the fact that you are literally changing lives. To see somebody come in weighing 90 pounds, and then to leave your program smiling, they got their teeth restored, they're 150 pounds and they're healthy, and they've reunited with their children. There's nothing.
We see it all the time.
I get chills in my spine.
Just right when she said,
saying that.
I get chills every. Yeah.
There's nothing that compares to it. And again, we wasn't even thinking about the money when we got into it. We didn't talk about that part of it. We wasn't even thinking about that. We were just thinking about how can we start from the root for these children that we were serving. And it just became into this. And that's just why I say, on this side of it is where the reward really is. I mean, this is what keep you going. And then when you have that one person who has nobody else, no mother, no father. Matter of fact, we get mothers who are going into nursing homes and they call us to place their child because they're so worried about their child being left behind while they're struggling in addiction.
Yes.
So to know that you've had an impact on their lives and that you've connected them and the right setups needed for them to feel good about themselves again and be able to smile and not look at that distorted version of them when they look in the mirror. Come on.
Yeah,
it literally chills all over my body when I talk.
Listen,
people have to stop me because when they come in their home, I want to love them. I'm like, oh my God, let me hug you. And I had to stop doing that because everybody is not huggers. But by the time they leave our company, they're huggers.
Up and high five and everything.
Yeah, we love them. I seriously love them.
Oh my God, I love you guys. All right, Mr. and Miss I Am the Deal. Like, how do people find you? I'm afraid we're actually at 33 minutes, believe it or not. Oh my God, can you believe that? Like, it went by so fast. How do people find out more? If they have the heart side and they want to be mentored, they want to be in your program, how do they find out your program? If not, if they have a house and they want to use that house for this good purpose, how do they find some of your students?
Absolutely. So you guys, to find us on social media and website, it's at www.mriamthedeal.com. On social media platforms, it's mriamthedeal.com. We are getting better with social media. We've been so focused on the purpose that now people are like, you need to do social media. So we're there. Our program, if you go onto our website under training, there's one at Sober Living. Just click there and it shows all the packages that we have available and our mentorship. And a part of our process has been a part of the mentorship where we literally hold your hand along the way. It's not just getting signed up and you just do courses. No, it's courses plus hands-on, I say experience, but hands-on help. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. I'm excited. I'm like, it's not just courses, guys. It's hands-on help. But with your guys doing the branding and the outreach that you guys are doing, they're literally homes, people waiting with homes that they have for your guys' students, right? So we need to get people into your classwork so we can get more of these homes, so we can get more of this really clear understanding of what it means to just, turn around lives. I mean, if some of my boyfriends had been moved into this type of center, they might be doing better than they were. Just to call it that, right? Just for the good, the higher good of a lot of people on the planet. So thank you so much, guys. So appreciate you guys being on the show. Thank you. Let's spread this news far and wide. This is Christina Suter on Real Estate Breakthrough. So excited to have you guys listening today. Tune in 2 weeks for the next show. We're on lots and lots of different platforms. iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon TV, Roku TV. You guys can find this everywhere. And I really hope that this drives a lot of business to your guys' good work. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Also, I wanted to say this real quick. For all of your listeners, they get half off of all of the products.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh my God, special product they've made specifically for you guys, my listeners. Thank you, Jermaine. Okay, tell us all about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have to use the discount code Breakthrough. That's your discount code for your listeners.
For your listeners only.
Because guys, this is the Real Estate Breakthrough show, so the code is Breakthrough. Let's make that clear. Go for it. And they have 50% off your guys' products if they go to your website and they register for your guys' courses.
Yes, ma'am.
I love you guys. Christina Suter, Real Estate Breakthrough.